Have you ever purchased anything on the spur of the moment, maybe a dress or a new pair of shoes? And when you got home, you realized that you didn't really need what you bought or you didn't like it. Or maybe even worse, you realized you didn't have room for it in your closet. Many of us make financial decisions without fully understanding our motivations behind them. The reason for this is, according to research done by neuroscientists, only 5% of our decisions are conscious versus 95% of our decisions, actions, emotions, and behaviors that are made unconsciously. We may feel comfortable with certain choices, but not know why we're making them or how they affect our finances in the long run. Without a deeper understanding of our money beliefs and underlying motivations, it can be difficult to make smart decisions when it comes to spending, saving, investing, and managing our money. This can lead to costly mistakes that could have been avoided if we had just taken the time to understand ourselves better. So, how do you gain clarity around your relationship with money and the decisions that you make? The answer is by identifying your money archetypes. Exploring each of these 8 archetypes will give you the insight into your patterns, your own patterns and behaviors, so that you can make smarter financial decisions in the future. With this knowledge in mind, you'll be able to save more money and invest wisely for a brighter financial future. Today, I'm going to share 8 money archetypes and how they affect your financial decisions. At the end of the episode, I will give you access to a free quiz that you can take to identify your unique money archetypes and how they're showing up in your life today. Hello, and welcome to Rise to Your Money Power, where we have honest conversations to empower you around your relationship with money. I'm Pamela Plick. I help purpose-driven women overcome feeling anxious, stuck, or overwhelmed related to their personal relationship with money, so that they can become more confident, achieve peace of mind, financial freedom, and impact without fear. And I do this through my signature program and services, as well as my events and community. Your money archetypes, or those voices in your head that are driving your financial decisions, are impacting your money beliefs and behaviors. Your money archetypes are not your personality or who you are, but they're symbolic metaphors that help us understand our patterns and behaviors. They show you where you are energetically and emotionally at this point in time, so that you can become aware of and change the unconscious behaviors. Archetypes are also powerful teachers and allies, since they inform us of where we need to grow. And let's dive into the 8 money archetypes. The first money archetype is the innocent. And, one of the common statements that I hear from a woman with an innocent archetype is, I put off making financial decisions because I just don't want to deal with it. The innocent, and I use the analogy of the ostrich. We think about the ostrich with their head in the sand. This is the innocent. They don't want to deal with money matters. The innocent is someone who avoids money matters, choosing, again, to bury their head in the sand and pretend like financial decisions don't have to be made. They often ignore or underestimate the power of money and what it can do for them. The innocent may also be overly trusting. This is the most trusting of all of the archetypes when it comes to financial advice, making decisions without taking the time to research or understand the implications. A lot of times when I encounter women with the money archetype, what I see them doing is they basically are turning over the management of all of their finances to someone else. And they're not engaged around those finances. So it might be a spouse or significant other, family member, or professional advisor that they're just completely letting them take care of everything, and they're not a partner in the process. The second money archetype is the victim. The victim might say, you know, if I had a better paying job, I would be better with my finances. Or another one I hear is, if it wasn't for my divorce, I would be better off financially. The victim is someone who has a tendency of living in the past, looking to blame others or outside circumstances for their financial situation. They don't take ownership of their own financial situation or how to move past whatever it is that they're feeling stuck about. They might feel that they're victim of an unfair system or that luck is not on their side. And this sense of being victimized can lead to feelings of anger, resentment, and helplessness. Now, it's also with the victim can be a self-fulfilling prophecy. So, you know, we talked in a previous episode about the benefits of our thoughts, you know, how our thoughts create our reality. And if we're constantly telling ourselves, you know, that we're a victim, or that money archetype is constantly, you know, talking in your head about, oh, you're never going to get things in order, you know, then that can, again, turn into a self-fulfilling prophecy. Victims are also prone to making decisions out of fear and uncertainty, and may lack the confidence to make sound financial judgments or financial decisions for themselves. It's important with a victim archetype, you know, that you understand that you are not a victim. You have control over your situation. And remember, we also talked about previously that fear comes from a lack of confidence, the fear of making a mistake, you know, the lack of confidence. And so, again, that's easily rectified through financial education and support. The third archetype is the warrior. And something you might hear your warrior archetype say, you know, is, I have put a plan in place to achieve my financial goals. The warrior is someone who approaches money with a sense of determination and control. They take risks, but they also manage their resources responsibly. The warrior is also confident in their financial skills and is not afraid to take calculated risk in order to achieve their goals. Now, also with the warrior does listen to professionals or experts. They listen, you know, but they also make their own decision, but they get counsel from experts or other professionals that are maybe more knowledgeable than they are. And the other thing is, warriors get things done. Now, the warrior is one of the ideal archetypes that you want to aspire to, and we'll talk about, there's actually 3, and we'll talk about that at the end today. but warrior is a good archetype. So if you see that, yes, I'm confident in my financial skills, I am putting an action plan in place to achieve the goals that I want to achieve, that's your warrior archetype that's showing up. The next archetype, or the third money archetype, is the martyr. And I see this archetype with a lot of women because, traditionally we are the nurturers, we're the caregivers, typically in the family. We have a tendency to take care of everyone before we take care of ourselves. So if that's something that's showing up for you, then that's your martyr archetype. Something that we might hear the martyr say, or your martyr archetype say, is that I help my family members financially, even though I may not have the money to spare. Again, the martyr is the archetype, or how it shows up is that they're putting everyone else's needs above their own and sacrifices for the greater good. They often view money as a negative force, believing that it's corrupt and leads to selfishness. The martyr may also be overly generous with their money and put themselves in a vulnerable financial position by not taking care of their own financial needs. So with the martyr archetype, again, you know that this is showing up if you have a tendency to put everyone's needs above your own, or, that little voice in your head saying, I know that I really can't spare this right now, but I'm going to go ahead and give it anyway. And the thing that happens with the martyr archetype, or how it shows up, when you're giving, then you have a tendency to start to feel resentful. Because, especially if someone is coming to you on a regular basis to ask for financial support. And what I'm thinking, for those of us that have children, adult children, this is something that might resonate. And you start to feel resentful because you don't feel that they are doing what you think they should be doing. So that's the martyr archetype. The fifth archetype is the fool. And the fool, something the fool might say, your martyr archetype your fool archetype might say, yes, I want to invest in this company. Haven't researched it yet, but I have a feeling that it will do well. The fool is someone who approaches with a reckless abandonment and little to no regard for consequences. They don't think things through. They just, on a spur of the moment, they're going to go ahead and just go for it. The fool also lives in the moment. They don't think about, what they might need to do down the road or plan for the future. It's just in the moment, spur of the moment. They may be making impulsive when it comes to making financial decisions and taking risk without fully understanding the implications of their decisions. In addition, the fool doesn't necessarily value hard work or saving, and may be reckless, again, with their finances. And the fool is really a combination of the innocent and the warrior. Remember, the innocent, I said, is kind of the ostrich with the head in the sand. They don't want to deal with it, or they don't want to think about the financial decisions. But the warrior is the one that gets things done. So again, the fool is a combination of the two. And by fully developing or evolving, the fool can be a great warrior. The sixth money archetype is a creator artist. And something you might hear the creator artist say is, I don't feel comfortable charging what I'm worth because I may lose customers, or I'm not in it for the money. You know, I don't really care. I don't want to know what my revenues are. I just want to do the work that I love to do. Creator artists are typically on a spiritual or artistic path. The creator artist money archetype is an interesting one because she has one foot in the physical world, one foot in the spiritual world, and is often driven by a desire to make something meaningful or beautiful instead of financial gain. These individuals are often creative and artistic in nature and may struggle with balancing the need to be creative with the practical aspects of making a living. And I see this a lot with coaches. You know, it's in what I tell clients or, you know, women that I work with, you know, it's really okay to make money. If we know we're here to fulfill a purpose, bring our unique gifts into the world and make the world a better place, we're here to lead an abundant life. And part of that abundance is prosperity. Now, just because the more money you make, actually, the more money you make, that means the more good that you can do in the world. You don't have to keep it. If you want to provide support for your family or causes that you're passionate about, you know, the more money you have, the more that you can do that. And so it really is okay to make money. And in addition, the creator artist may feel uncomfortable with any type of material success. She finds living in the material world difficult and frequently has a conflicted love-hate relationship with money. The seventh archetype is the tyrant. And something you might hear the tyrant say is that I will loan you this money, but I want proof, or I want you to show me how you're going to use it. The tyrant archetype is someone who's ruled by fear and tends to view money as a way of power and control. And typically the tyrant archetype, the fear is around not enough. They have a lack mentality instead of an abundance mentality, you know, that there's enough for everyone. The tyrant may also be overly focused on accumulating wealth and status, often at the expense of their relationships or other areas of their life. They may also be prone to manipulating and exploiting other people for their own financial gain. You know, it's interesting when we look at, you know, a lot of our elected officials, for example, have a lot of that tyrant mentality, or tyrant archetype rather. So again, archetype, you know, with the tyrant, the feeling is a feeling of lack, that there's not enough. Their fear is fear of losing control, and not, you know, putting their needs above everyone else's. The eighth money archetype is the magician. And something that you might hear the magician say, your magician archetype say, is I'm confident that I will change my relationship with money because I'm getting the support that I need. The magician is an ideal archetype. She's the manifester. Magicians embrace money as a tool for transformation. using it with grace and understanding. She knows the power of money and uses it responsibly to create positive change in the world, whether it's contributing again to causes that that she's passionate about, or supporting, helping family members or those less fortunate. The magician has an understanding that having abundance is not just about wealth, material wealth. It's also about being able to use money to create something meaningful. They're actually, out of the 8 archetypes, there are 3 that are ideal, the 3 archetypes that we want to aspire to. And those are the magician, the warrior, and the creator artist. But usually at any time, there's not just one archetype, that is controlling your financial decisions. I usually use the analogy of a car. If you ever driven in the car, you have people in the front seat, you have people in the back seat. So with the archetypes that are in the front seat are your dominant archetypes. These are the ones that are primarily controlling your financial decisions, your day-to-day decisions. The archetypes that are in the back seat are called your shadow archetypes. They're kind of like the backseat driver. So let's say the warrior is driving your car, they're behind the steering wheel, and the warrior is the one that, let's say for example, you review your financial statements once a week or once a month. So you say, I know I have it on my calendar, I know I'm going to review and see where I am, keep track of where I am financially. But you have that backseat driver who might be the innocent, saying, oh, you know what? You don't need to review those statements this week. You can do that next time. It's not that important, right? So we all have dominant as well as our shadow archetypes. And they actually can change. Your archetypes, again, are not who you are. They're where you are energetically and emotionally at this point in time. So they can change based on where you are in life. The archetypes are also important because they determine what you need to change to create a more positive relationship with money, and they guide you to achieving greater balance. So you don't want to be all one archetype. The warrior is wonderful. The magician is wonderful because the magician also has a quiet knowing that the universe is supporting her and everything is in divine order. But if only your magician is dominant in the voice in your head, then your warrior is not being expressed, because the warrior is the one that's actually doing, taking the steps to be able to help you manifest that vision that you desire. And then the creator artist is the one that's the spiritual archetype, and it's creativity, coming up with ideas. So it's important to have a balance of all 3. Now, understanding, again, your money archetypes is the first step towards developing a positive relationship with money. They help you to understand your current relationship with money. And with this knowledge, you will have the ability to identify which archetype is at play when making financial decisions, and be able to make conscious decisions that are aligned with what's best for both you and those around you, and that are aligned with your values and goals. So it's time to take control of your financial future by understanding these powerful archetypes, which ones are showing up for you, and which ones maybe that are holding you back. So what I'd like to have you do is reflect on your current relationship with money and ask yourself these 3 questions to help you motivate yourself into action. Number 1, which money archetype do you see in yourself? Number 2, do you have any areas of improvement when it comes to managing money? And number 3, how can you use the knowledge of these archetypes to create a more positive and empowered relationship with money? If you would like to learn more about your relationship with money and which archetypes are driving your financial decisions, I invite you to take my free money type quiz. It's a wonderful resource to help you quickly and easily identify what your current relationship is with money and which archetypes are showing up. It only takes 5 minutes to complete, and it can be life-changing. Just go to PamelaPlick.com/thank you. And the link to the quiz is on that page. Again, PamelaPlick.com/thank you. And after you take the quiz, check out my other tools and resources to help you start to unlock your financial freedom and set yourself up for long-term success. And as we end, I'd like to leave you with this quote that I love, and it's from Brian Tracy. Your outer world of attitudes, wealth, work, and relationships, and health will always be a reflection of your inner attitudes of mind. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Until next time, remember, you can rise to your money power.